Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing a video on how I cover my dark under eye circles. This is a how-to video and I'm going to talk through it step by step. I've really broken down a very full-on routine. So this is every single step that you could do if you wanted to cover dark circles. Now you don't have to do obviously every single step because it is a sort of long process, but there are just some tips and techniques that I use when I want to cover my dark under eye circles. So if you want to see how I achieve a bright under eye, then please keep on watching. So the first thing you want to do when you are covering dark circles underneath your eye is to use an eye cream. I have just washed my face and moisturised, and I have also moisturised my under eye area with the Bobbi Brown Hydrating Eye Cream. I just apply a sort of pea-sized amount and just dab it underneath my eye using my ring finger, and I just let that absorb into my skin for a little bit just so it sort of plumps that under eye area. The reason why I do that is it hydrates that area, so it's going to have less creasing and it's going to look less dry and cakey when we apply the products. So the first thing when I start my face is I want to go in with a primer. This is just going to help make all of the products last a lot longer. Today I'm using the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer. It's just a little sample size. I'm just going to apply this all over my skin and also on that under eye area. Silicone-based primers are really good for filling in lines and pores. So if you have got sort of deeper set wrinkles underneath your eyes, then a silicone primer is going to be a better option for you. So I've literally just applied that sort of all over my face, but also focusing underneath my eye area. So the next thing I am going to do is counteract the darkness underneath my eyes. So I have a couple of different products that I use. I don't tend to use like a purple one or a green one or anything like that. I just tend to go in with a more orange tone. There's also this shade here from my Sleek Concealer and Corrector palette. So this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Contour Kit. This is in the shade Nude and this one is in the shade Cream. I can tend to use a mixture of those, but I tend to use that one more. This is sort of the darkest shade in here, which you can see is more orangey salmon tone. For dark under eye areas, you do want a more salmon tone because everything is based on the colour wheel that you probably taught in school to do with art. So blue and orange are complementary colours, so it's going to help with any sort of deep bruising that you may have underneath your eye. It's really going to help. Also helps with like purpley tones as well. So as you can see, I've just applied a bit onto my ring finger. I'm just going to pat this gently underneath my eye using my ring finger. So you really don't need much at all, and you want to blend it out really well because you don't want to see a sort of salmon toned orange concealer underneath your eye. So you just blend it out well. And then for the other eye, I'm going to use the Anastasia, just so I can sort of compare them. I can show you what they're like. I'm also going right into that inner corner because you can get sort of bruised tones right in that inner corner. But like I said, you just want to blend it out really well. And you just want to use your ring finger because that is the finger with the lightest pressure. And like I keep saying, this under eye area is really delicate. So you can either do this before or after you apply a foundation. Today I've done it before. So I'm just going to apply some foundation to my skin. I find when applying foundation, I don't want to apply it right underneath my eyes because it can be very drying, especially as I prefer a more mattified foundation. So you just want to apply it all over your skin, but just be very careful around the under eye area because you don't want to cake foundation. You can sort of overlap just slightly on that orange corrector, but I wouldn't take the foundation all the way up underneath the eye. Now that I have my foundation on, if you haven't applied the correcting concealer before your foundation, you want to apply it now. So normally what I now go in with is a more skin toned concealer, so something which isn't particularly brightening. So say my Pro Longwear concealer is kind of my skin tone, and also the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. I tend to go in with this to help cover the orange, and it's got sort of slight orange tint to it as well. So I just apply this pretty much just where we applied the orange concealer or the orange corrector. I just apply it like so on my face, and then I'm going to go in with a beauty blender and just gently buff or press, blend this concealer out. It's obviously also going to help conceal the eyelid as well as covering the orange corrector tone. So I'm hoping that you can see the difference that that makes. Obviously you can't see the orange corrector underneath my eyes anymore. And now this is when I tend to go in with a highlighting product. So I tend to use Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer in the shade Fair Neutral and the Prep and Prime in the shade Radiant Rose. I also have a fairly good highlighting concealer in this Sleek Conceal and Corrector palette, which has a more pinky tone. So I might apply a little bit of that. What should I apply with? Here we go. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of that pink toned concealer in that Sleek palette. So I'm just going in a little bit on that on a brush. I'm just gently patting that underneath your eyes, and you can see like how brightening that is. I'm just going to apply it in a triangular shape. Bringing it up towards my hairline as well. You can see how brightening that is. I'm now going to go in with the Naked Skin Concealer because this is more pink toned. I'm just going to apply this so it matches my skin tone a little better. And again in that inner corner. So I'm just sort of, again, just making it blend in with my skin flawlessly. So I'm just going to go in with the Beauty Blender again. And this Beauty Blender is going to tap in this concealer, but also at the same time it's going to blend that pink highlight that we applied. Great thing with the Beauty Blender as well when you use it damp is that it takes away any excess product that you have on your face. It just leaves a really beautiful finish because it has taken away any excess product. So you can probably, or hopefully, you can see how bright my under eye area is now. Okay, so I've just popped my brows on before setting my face because I just feel like the product sticks a lot better. So what I'm going to do is just go over with my Beauty Blender again, just make sure there are no creases or anything. Like I still get a couple of creases, but that's just like how my eye is. And I have a couple different ways of setting it. So you can either set it with a powder form, like a compact powder form. So I'm going to use the vanilla shade because that's very brightening. I'm just going to take that on a large, well, that is a tapered highlight brush. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of product. And I'm going to press it into my skin. Really getting in there and setting everything. Just apply some on my eyelid as well. Brush that away. Make sure I get the inner corner. So that is one way of setting it. So as you can see, it sort of brought down the brightness a little bit, which I kind of like because it was very bright. Just makes it look a little bit more of your skin. I do find that my eye area does crease a bit when I just use a powder form like that. That's why I do like using a loose powder. So this is the Secret Brightening Powder from Laura Mercier. This is really good for brightening up that under eye area. Basically, how I do this is I go in with a damp Real Techniques sponge because I love the shape of these. I go in and I just coat the sponge and just press the product into the sponge. I use like the tip because I find I can get right in underneath my eye. What I do like to do is just do one final end just to make sure that I'm not setting creases that I can prevent. And then I go right in with the powder and I pressing it in to my skin, and I go all the way into that inner corner and down. So I'm doing that whole highlighted area, and I'll put a little bit on my eyelid as well. So you can see like it is pretty much a white powder. If I apply it to the other side without baking it, so I'm just going to apply a little bit on my brush and then just pat that over this side. Just such a brightening product. It is really good if you do love that really bright highlight, or if you are very fair. So you can see it's a very bright highlight look. So I'm just going to let that set on my skin for a little while and then I will brush it off. So I've allowed it to settle on my skin for a good sort of 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do, I've lost my brush now. What I'm going to do is just go in with like a duo fiber brush and I just gently brush any loose product away. And just blend over the skin entirely. You can see how bright it makes my under eye area. This is how I cover my dark under eye circles and bags if I haven't had much sleep, like last night. I got hardly any sleep. So when I do want a very bright eyed look, this is the sort of routine that I do. This is very full on because I wanted to show you every single step, so you don't have to use every single step that I did. This is just a sort of look at everything that you can do to help counteract your under eye darkness. So I can definitely see that this eye is brighter, and I think that's because I baked the concealer there. Yeah, baked it with the Secret Brightening Powder, and it's just such a bright look. So I'm not saying that you need to do the whole entire routine, but I hope you did learn a few techniques and tricks that you can add to your makeup routine for those days when you need a little brightness underneath your eye. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch my videos, especially this one. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I release new videos every Monday and Friday, and I'm trying to upload on a Wednesday as well. So yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you all very, very soon.